Methods. Output, which is also output, production, product. How do you? Simple. 10 apples, market price, last year price, constant price at the base year. Add it up. 10 tens are 100, that's your GDP. So GDP by product is by adding up the market price of all the goods and services produced in a certain period, which is a quarter, a year. Simplest. But there is a problem here. You can, because each method we have to see what are the advantages, what are the limitations. Advantages are very simple. You know what you have produced, add it up and you got the number. That's the value of your GDP. Advantages. Disadvantage or limitation is maybe you are double counting. You counted wheat and you are counting atta. You are not stopping there. You are counting that, roti also. So that inflates the price of the GDP artificially, and that danger is there when you are counting the market prices for the product-based valuation of the GDP. So simple, there is a danger. Expenditure. So you have produced little bit maybe unsold, that's another thing. What you produce, what it costs, not cost, there is a product, 100 rupees. The incomes if you add up, that should be 100. The expenditure if you add up, that should be 100. 1 or 2 rupees you take it away. How is the expenditure equal to the product? Very simple. My consumption, we are all private people, my consumption, 60% of the GDP is consumption. Consumption is a private consumption. For example, you and I, what we are consuming is consumption. And I'll come to another 2 types of consumption. One is big enough, the other is not so big. Consumption is private consumption 60%, private consumption 60%. CIG. Netics. Consumption, what do I buy? I buy food, I buy clothes. If I have little children, I'll buy toys. Consumption. What does this guy buy? He's a producer. He's an investor. He buys machinery and buildings so that he can use that as a capital good for production. So CI, then you have the government. What does the government buy? Government builds roads and all that, for which it buys all sorts of things. For building steel, wood and all that. So government is an investor. Government is also a facilitator of consumption. If I had 101 temperature, I will go to a Mohalla clinic here. Who is footing the bill? Government of the Delhi NCT. So government is investing in the infrastructure. Government is also putting up schools and colleges and hospitals and whatnot. In Tamil Nadu, they had, when AIDMK was there, Amma canteen was there. Karnataka must be something linked to Indira canteen. They are giving food at 4 rupees, 3 rupees, some of the finest food. So government is facilitating consumption. Government is setting up infrastructure, for that they are spending money. This guy investing, spending money, and all of us, of course. And government facilitates consumption how? I gave you one example: school, college, clinic and all. And we are the private guys, and what we are consuming. Roughly 60%, not roughly, 60% is private consumption. After that should be the changes, of course. This guy, the private investor, could be the next about maybe 20 something, and the government is less than 20. That should be the normal breakup. But these are the days when the government is taking the lead in borrowing and investing so that economy is stimulated. Therefore, after private consumption, the government should come. We'll wait for the survey for the numbers. CIG. But remember, some of the goods and services that you produced, guys outside your country are buying. And some of the goods and services produced outside your country, you are buying. If you export it for 100, if you import it for 150, and if you net it out, then from this CIG, you take out 50 rupees. That will get you the GDP number. So who is buying here? I'm buying, private, investor is buying, government is buying, and guys outside your country are buying. But when you go outside your country to see some people outside the country are buying the goods and services produced within your country, you should be honest to say that some of the goods that others are producing, you are buying, exporting more. Net X is positive. Net exports, imports, X, M, whatever alphabets. Net exports, if exports are less than imports, then you've got a minus number which will reduce the CIG number. This is the expenditure part. Output, expenditure should be the same. Some discrepancies will be there. Some you produce but don't sell. You count it as a product GDP, but there is no selling. Salaries you don't pay, But that's a commonsensical thing. Income. What do I get? I get my wage. Labor, wage. What does this guy get? He is a land guy. He gets rent. What does that guy, he is a capital man. He gets interest. And the guy who brings all of us together, he gets profit. Profit, interest, rent, and wage. And this is the non-government economy. Government gets all sorts of taxes, dividends, profits, interest, and all that. So all of us have this spectrum. So income, wage, labor, rent, land, interest, capital, and then profit, the entrepreneur, the enterprise, and of course the government, taxes, all sorts of taxes. Taxes, dividends, interest, what have you, divestment, everything except loans that the government takes. Add up all this, once again your GDP by income should total to GDP by output, which should total to the expenditure method of counting the GDP. They're all the same. That is why they have a circular like this: output, and then you've got expenditure, and then you've got income. They're all same with some statistical discrepancies. This is the way to understand how to count the GDP. Yes, but there are a lot of intricacies there. This is the basic picture. After that, how much more simplification I can do. Let us see. This is a basic picture. I have to see some more aspects of GDP, but not for our discussion, maybe in the MCQ and all. So, can we show some graphics? I hope it's clear. Oh, these. I will come to, the shapes I will come to. Ah, yes. This is your, you guys make notes. This is your notes. This table captures the gist. Here again, 1 hour of your time is being saved, which is the name you give to productivity. Your productivity is leaping, leaping. Double count. When you have income, government person, I know the income. Ambani's companies, I know the income. 50% is the informal economy. The entire Rajendra Nagar economy, which is a lot of economy, all that economy is informal. They are not in government records. See, I'm an informal guy. I sell chai. I employ people. I buy tea powder. Gas stove I have, all that I have. I'm paying, but I'm not registered. So every evening I make 100 rupees. In a month I make 3,000 rupees. But I'm not paying any GST, nor income tax, nor profit tax. I'm not a company, I'm nothing. I do pay some taxes. What taxes? I bought a stove. On that, LPG, whatever, I pay some tax. So whatever I buy in the formal market, and I pay GST on that. Nothing else I pay. And like me, 50% of economy is like me. Why am I informal? Don't have to pay tax, number one. Here today, gone tomorrow. How is it that spot? How long will you make tea there? Tomorrow government's policy may change. So I don't get registered. If I get registered, even after I have no business, the government will still expect tax from me, and people will come to me. So I'm worried. I have chosen not to register. I don't want to pay tax because I hardly make any profit on the tax also. And my skills are not such that I have a future in business. What else will I do? You please tell me. Why am I informal? I'm informal because that's all I can do. My capital is little, my talent is little, my skills are little, and I'm a little scared of the government. So that's why I'm informal. My productivity, these guys' productivity is mind-blowing productivity. Morning 6 he opens and about 8 or so he closes. Show me who is more productive than him. Running around all the time. Oh, craziest productivity. But that productivity is manual productivity. He cannot bring people together. So, that's informal economy. Deliberate and helpless both. So that kind of economy, and he is not educated. If you are educated, you will get a job. If you are not educated, what job will you get? He has to be informal. Informal economy is underproductive. No social security. Poor fellow, anything happens tomorrow, where is he? So, social security problem, productivity problem, financial inclusion problem, tax for the government problem, etc. They're all there. But the fact remains, when I'm counting GDP by the income, I go only to the government and to the Ambanis, etc., corporate sector. To informal economy, which is 50%, all the incomes are blurred. I don't know who is getting how much. And that will distort the number by the GDP through income. And expenditure, whom will you ask? What will you ask? Data can be hard to gather. What will you ask people? 60% of the economy once again is consumption. A lot of that is informal. Who do you ask? What do you ask? What will they tell you? Data is very, very hard to gather. This is it. If you give this tomorrow, please believe me, a decent, surprising question in the main exam is, what are the three methods to estimating the GDP? Give one advantage and one limitation for each one of them. This will get you the rank. Just a short little, cute little table. You know, this, and the first one is double counting. That's it. Informal. Yeah, that's all. Advantages, so anyone can cook up advantages. We have more. This is later. Alternatives to the GDP. Definition. Please go through this. This is national. That is DP. I'm comparing. We already done this. Recapture. Another half an hour left. After reading 10 pages of GDP GNP comparison, 10 is exaggeration, 2 pages, what you will jot down is this. Subheads are there. Gist. CIG, for exports he chose alphabet X, for imports he chose alphabet M. You could, net X, whatever you like to call. These are standardized, of course. Yeah.
In GNP, sir, net income earned from abroad, we can include
Okay. Please complete your question.
Can we include borrowings? It can go negative also sometimes.
Can we include what?
Borrowings.
Borrowings, yeah. See, borrowings are not a part of the GDP. No? You borrow and invest. So investment is a part of the GDP, in that borrowings are covered. Consumption, you borrow and consume. Consumption captures personal borrowings. Government, the borrowing is not included at all. Government is only tax receipts revenue. Corporate investment, if they borrowed, that borrowed portion is a part. You are investing this much. Can I? Yeah. You are investing this much. Maybe this is borrowed. Yeah, maybe this is borrowed. So investment includes borrowing. Consumption includes borrowing. And if you choose maybe government expenditure also, you may add borrowing if you like, because nobody is going to, there's a gray zone there. But generally I have not seen government borrowings being a part of the government expenditure. So borrowings, the debt is a part of the consumption or investment or government expenditure. Let the borrowings come from within the country or outside the country. But the question you raised that requires a bigger explanation, net income from abroad. See. So, foreigners are producing 10 rupees. Indians are producing 9 rupees outside India. Cut the 10 out, 100 minus 10 is 90. Add the 9, 99. So your DP is 100, your NP is 99. Because Indians outside India are producing only 9. Foreigners inside the country are producing 10. This goes out because it's a national concept, not a geography concept. And this goes out, the foreign part, and the national outside India adds in 9, out 10, in 9, net is 99. That is called the net factor income. What is factor income? Factors, somebody's wage, somebody's profit, somebody's rent, somebody's interest. Factors, net factor income from abroad, net it. 10 minus 9. If this is 9 and that is 10, it will be 101, 101. That should be clear, no? Yeah. So, another graphic. No, this is post GDP. Okay. Let me talk about it first. See, GDP, when Simon Kuznets innovated the measurement of economy and its growth by creating this notion called GDP, he did not offer it as a metric for well-being, quality of life, happiness, progress, nothing. He said this 100 is where we are. A lot of things have to happen for it to become 110. Let's see what we have to do. 110 is required because you have equity, poverty, all that. So we are at 100. We have to move to 110, 20, 30. Let's see where we are, who is producing what, where are the gaps, and then we will adjust accordingly and keep progress. So he just gave you a concept that captures a gross number, and with that number and the inside details you could work your way to, whatever your goals are. Very simple, very simple. He just 2 apples are being produced. Once you know it's all apples, oranges, mangoes, vegetables. There's no notion of well-being there at all. Then comes declaration of the GDP as something which is like progress. So people looked at it. There are various limitations to the concept of GDP. Some are, very physical, statistical. It's not comprehensive. Informal economy, no. By indirect method through surveys you capture, but directly Ambani makes a profit of 100 rupees. Ministry of Corporate Affairs knows it. But what about old Rajendranagar? What about others who are making a livelihood, but they're contributing as well? That needs to be factored in. No. Informal? No. A lot of economy is black. That is, either they are producing goods banned or they are producing unbanned legal goods, but they are not reporting it to the government. Either way, it's black. So a lot of that, in Karnataka, lot of mining took place which was illegal. Illegal mining. Which means 100 rupees of iron ore was legally produced, another 20 rupees was illegally produced. That mine is not mine. But I still dug and I exported, sold and all that. 20 rupees. So a lot of illegal activity is not captured, number 2. Number 3 would be, nobody talks of poverty while talking about GDP. Your GDP could be such that 10% of the people are flourishing, your GDP is rocking, but 90 is rotting, but still, guys will praise you because no poverty, no inequality, no gender disparity, no environmental lack of sustainability, nothing. And for all you know, nominal value rides on inflation. So if you declare your GDP to be XYZ, a lot of that could be Turkey. The inflation officially is 60, officially. Unofficially it's 80 plus. Unofficially it's very high, Turkey. And then Argentina is very famous for inflation, about 100, any time of the day or night, 100. And then Pakistan, of course, nobody seriously talks about. That. So we are fine, 6 something. See, so you can inflate the GDP. With inflation, you can show a higher figure. So GDP can be manipulated. GDP is insensitive to the quality of life, all that. There was one question in the main examination. It was expected, for God's sake, it was expected, it's there in your book also, nothing mysterious. See, I feel of the many qualitative lacunae in the concept of GDP, one is, take the economy of the country, any country, as China, Japan, America, wherever. A lot of work goes on inside the home. Even if man and wife, both of them are working, a lot of work at home the lady does. These days it's changing, of course, because we are progressing and all that. The lady does. A lot of work lady does. Take care of senior guys, take care of children, all sorts of things, washing, cooking. That constitutes 1/3 of the economy. If your economy is $3.75 trillion, the work contributed by men also do it. Women, 1/3 is the care economy at home, domestic economy. And of that, let's say 20% is done, 30% is done by men, 70% is by women. So if the care economy is worth about $1.2 trillion and 30% is attributed to men, you still have about $800 billion or something contributed by women. So how do we compensate them? What do we do to compensate them? That's a policy challenge. But Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, they're all rising to the occasion, and financial transfers they are conducting, direct benefit transfer, direct cash transfer. Keep this, feel secure. You could, have autonomy and all that. So, that is one, you keep thinking of others also. Care economy, GDP doesn't capture. In order to fill up the gaps in the existing concept of the GDP, a lot of refined versions have come. I'm not talking of that because our next stop is purchasing power parity. Very interesting. One multiple choice question came about a few years back. Another can come because we are, as you have seen the rankings, world's number 3, 15 trillion or something. How is it that you are at 4 trillion this way, 15 trillion that way? What explains the huge gap 4 times? I'm going to explain just now. See, today, rupees 83 is taken for granted. You won't, 83 is the bottom line now. When are we hitting 84? That is the, worry. 83 is, the bottom line, fixed. So now, how did the 83 come about? 83, 83.25. 273045. You're going that side. How? It all boils down to demand and supply. Just like a tomato, rupee is also an article in the market. Like tomato prices swing, rupee could also swing. It doesn't swing so wildly because it's a national currency and there are too many hedges against it. RBI protects it. But the fact is, it's another rupee like this, there's another rupee there. I can buy it with dollar. I can buy the dollar with the rupee. So there is something called, like in the market, the fundamental forces are demand and supply. Today, there is a run for, not run on, run for dollar. Why? Everything is there in the dollar. American economy doing too well. Interest rates are good. Future is bright. This, that. So there is demand for dollar. I'm converting rupees. See how it operates. This guy has the dollars. I've got the rupees. I asked him, sir, you give me $1. He says, you give me 83 rupee 25 paisa. Then I asked him one more, 26 paisa. One more, 27. 10 more, 30. 100 more, 40. So as the demand for dollar grows, there is greater weakness of the rupee. Because rupee is chasing dollar. Dollar is pricier, rupee is weaker. Tomorrow, all going well, we become global, hub of semiconductor, all this. And then your JP Morgan emerging market global indices. We are there and guys track us, we are doing okay, so they would like to buy government bonds, come into the country, this and that. So then there will be dollar comes, demand for rupee. You give me, I have a dollar, how many rupees will you give? 83.25 per dollar. Can you give me one more? I'll say 83.2 I'll give you for $1. You give me 10 rupees, 83 I'll give you. When I'm in demand, less of me goes. Dollar is weak, rupee is strong. Initially 83, 82 because the rupee is in demand. How many? I'll give less, 81, 80, 79. So if there is demand for rupee, imports, exports, FDI, interest payments, oil price, interest rates, factor all that. What's the net effect? Demand supply. Some of it is real, some of it is projected. Some of it is, what is the value of the currency? Exchange, account, store of value. Account means, I can't say 1 kg of onion, 1 kg of tomato, one this, 10 rupees, 9 rupees, 8 rupees. Account, I account in the currency. And some currency, I go, 10 rupees you take, give me chai. Exchange. Some currency, I accumulate as a store of value. Rupee, nobody accumulates as a store of value. Dollar, everyone would love to keep dollar. Dollar can't go wrong. Rupee can be anywhere. The erosion in the purchasing power of dollar is ruled out. And the erosion in the purchasing power of rupee is fairly probable sort of a happening. So of the three functions of the currency, America, brilliant for account of course, wherever you see the symbol is dollar. Exchange of course, a lot of your exports and imports are paid for in dollar. The confidence in the currency of dollar, the whole world keeps dollar as a store of value, which means that dollar has become number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 global reserve currency. Go wherever, China, arch enemy of America, has $1 trillion worth of forex. China, we also have a lot of it, maybe 400. They don't tell us, but $400 billion. Everyone holds a dollar because dollar is the most trusted currency. In other words, as much as a unit of account, as much as a unit of exchange, dollar is in demand as a, by virtue of currency confidence, as a reserve currency. That is why in the purchasing power parity, I'll come to this. I'll come to that. Give me 10 minutes. So you know the factors behind the determination of the value of your currency in the global market, demand and supply. Yes? Now 83. What's the value of your GDP? 3 crores. How much is this in dollars? 83, which is what gets you $3.75 trillion. Now, this is all speculation, liquidity, confidence, store value, all that. 83. Now let's see. Let's make a basket of goods and services. Simplest example, Big Mac index. The simplest. Big Mac index, you know the McDonald's burger. Big Mac index. In India also we have, non-vegetarian. But in America they have beef. In India beef is forbidden. So there must be some chicken or mutton or something. How much is it in America? The Maharaja here, Big Mac there. This could be $150. This is $6. $6 is 150. That is the purchasing power of dollar in comparison to the purchasing power of Indian rupee. 6 to 150, 25 rupees. $1 is 25. In the market 83. The purchasing power of the rupee is 25 rupees per dollar. What dollar purchases? 25 rupees. In the market I am paying 83 rupees. So between 25 and 83 and collapsing, 25 becomes 24 becomes 24. Here you are appreciating on ground in terms of purchasing power. There you are depreciating because the confidence in rupee is not so high. So this is the market dynamics. This is the actual purchasing power. And there a lot of intangibles come. Here there is no intangible. A burger is a burger. So the purchasing power of rupee in comparison to the purchasing power of dollar, this is not a perfect case. It's an indicative case. So many things can't be transferred. They are not marketable. From here to America they can't go. Not everything is a burger. So, but there is a point being made here. Burger. Comparable burgers. 150 rupees. Why is it 150 here? Why is it $6 there? That's another story. But there they make a lot of things. Number one, the scale is good, so it is cheap. Number two, they import a lot of things and all that. Interest rates are very cheap, etc. Salaries are also. So 6, 150, 25. Now I'll take you back to the same numbers. 3 crores by 25, doesn't it leave you at 12 trillion? So what two numbers do you connect? 12 by the market exchange rate, you land at $3.75 trillion. While we are talking, it could be less than 3.75, maybe 3.74. Because if 83 becomes 84, what will this become? So this fluctuates. As the rupee is melting, your dollar value of the economy is also melting. Here, 12 trillion USD is the value of your economy by the strength of what your currency can buy, which is what matters to me. I'm not traveling abroad. I have not taken any loan. I'm not an exporter. So this one doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is what I have to pay for what I consume. So purchasing power parity. Now, Dharmendra ji, we have to show two tables. One table by exchange rate value, another by the PPP value, and compare the two. Show a big difference. This I'll come to. World economy, where is America? 25. Where is China? 18. Where is India? Here. 25, 18. Let's go to PPP. The 25, see 31 becomes from 18, understandable. India also made a leap from 4 to 15. That's okay. From 25 you fell to 23 because the purchasing power of the dollar is X, the market demand is X plus, because dollar is not only used for purchasing but also for storing, for that I am ready to pay you a premium. Got it? You haven't got? See, what is the value of a currency? What it buys is the value. Go there, burger, 150. 150 rupees is the burger. I've made the math. People are storing the currency. I'm not asking for a rupee to buy a burger. I'm asking for rupee to keep the rupee. Therefore, what I'm ready to pay for a rupee is more than what the rupee can purchase. Got it? That is the premium. So here, this question can come in the prelim because you got a value of the US GDP, which by the market exchange rate is much higher, and in comparison the PPP rate is low, because the need for dollar in the global market goes beyond its ability to purchase. It also includes confidence. I have a dollar, you have to look at my face. If I have a dollar in my pocket, if I have any other currency also, you can look at my face. My face will tell everything. If I have Indian rupee, I'm okay. Then Sri Lanka, bad. Nepal, worse or equally bad. US dollar, AAA. Euro, yen, Swiss franc, the glow on the face shows the value. In other words, take China, 31, because nobody holds Chinese yuan. People use China currency only for purchase because a lot of limitations are there. But the power of purchase, the power of yuan to purchase something, this much it can purchase, but the confidence in the global markets about the yuan is not good, suboptimal. Therefore, the exchange rate is, far less than the value of the currency in terms of its purchasing power. India, I showed you the math. United States, I'll show you Canada, Switzerland, Japan. See, what was the value? Dharmendra ji, go back to Japan by market. 4 point something. Now you come to the purchasing power parity, 5 point something. Which means yen is not just used to purchase, as a store, as a reserve. So there is demand beyond the ability to purchase. So that's the story about how you are already in the top 3 by the purchasing power parity. China is 1 and the US is 2. And there is some story about the US being 2 here, US being 1 there, and this value being less than that value. It happens only to some countries whose currency happens to be global reserve currency. Because the extra demand for the currency beyond its power to buy, store, reserve. That's about the purchasing power parity. Now, I would like to talk about the recovery shapes that we have here. We will show them to you in about 5-10 minutes after the lecture is completed. See, already we have seen economy, recession. You have fallen. Factories are closed and the growth is down, so your GDP is in contraction. And factories are open, you are back in the game, which is what you call V-shaped, vicious, fall like a stone, get up like a rocket. So V-shaped, whether we grew like in a V, that's a separate debate, whether we grew V or whatever. But it's not always that you have a V-shaped recovery. At times what happens is, you have a U-shaped. You fall, take time, gradually come back. Why? Maybe the virus has hit you hard. Maybe you don't have the fiscal power to come back so quickly. Maybe because of the world market is not doing too well, you are an export driven economy. Maybe your banks have fallen in the process, so credit pressures are there. U-shaped. But then I'll extend the V. You fell, you got up. This is a classical post-COVID recovery, but not every fall and not every recovery is post-COVID. You have fallen because a big bank has fallen, and big bank has fallen, along with that many other banks have fallen. A lot of people lost their money, no consumption, no demand, and you fell. So you all come together, G20, you people come together, you say, okay, let the banks lend. You got the money, government took a lot of money for, expenditure, fiscal stimulus. But then World Bank tells you you are borrowing too much, you are not spending for returns, you are just throwing your money around, stop borrowing. You can't borrow. Then the World Bank says you have fallen too steeply, this is not maintainable, therefore you can borrow, we'll lend you some money under these conditions. For any reason you can fall, you can get up, you can fall, you can get up, and if it happens more than once, it is a W. So, it can happen for any number of reasons, largely because if you are wasting money, you are stopped from borrowing further, you can't spend on roads and buildings, so your economy collapses, but it's too bad, and therefore some patchwork solution is worked out and you can come back. So that is W, you have seen W, U, V, and then there is L. Sri Lanka. Fall, L for Lanka. Fall, smashed because you committed too many mistakes. Just too many mistakes. Polycrisis. And then you've got this, apparently the Nike symbol, swoosh. Get up, little bit of U, and after that it's not vertical, gradually you'll come back. All these shapes are okay, but the ultimate alphabet in the recovery is this. This is the discovery that took place in 2021. Post-COVID, somebody hit the idea that K is the way we are coming back. Some people are enjoying recession, for example, technology, financial services like stock market, etc. Some people like hotels, restaurants, etc. Hospitals are also here. They have fallen. Touch sensitive guys have fallen. E-commerce and technology, they have risen. So some have gone down, some have gone up. Inequality sharpens and it's captured by the alphabet K. And now the graphics we can show. Yes, K. This is the worst alphabet in the entire set. These guys actually, this is not like this, like this. K, the alphabet K was discovered for what's going on only now. We have never come across this before, 2021. All other alphabets were around, Lehman Brothers and stuff. Next. The V, you fall like a crash, get up viciously. Because you close the factory, you open the factory, that's all there is. Next, W, I gave you the reason. Fall, borrow and come back. Bad conditions again, fall. Okay, good conditions and come back. This is the second time that the virus struck. Next, L, see? Next, U, gradual. Slower than V. V will be like this. We will be like this. Next. Yeah, this is your notes again. The crux of it all. Swoosh, Nike, swoosh, gradual. Steady recovery but gradual, slow. Two speed, if you use the, it's not a, some flourish, some perish, that is K. There is no other alphabet. Please don't invent any other alphabet. Some people say, oh, this is 100%. So that's where the class comes to a close today. Yeah, time? Yeah. Tomorrow, post GDP concepts. After that, planning. Thank you. All the graphics shown, na?
Yes, sir.